Cord cutting. I finally started feeling well enough again to start channeling on our books, longer-term projects. I'm doing one with the Mercurians. They're telling me the history of the solar system from their perspective. There was one comment Sunji made last night that really amazed me. He was talking about how the Mercurians used to be the plunderers and the marauders of our solar system, like the Vikings here on Earth. It seems many cultures have undergone this violent phase and moved beyond it. We're next. I noticed it's hilarious because Sunji is kind of torn between referring to me as a vegan and that culture that I come from, or as an earthling and this culture. He makes reference to both. It's probably because that aspect of my consciousness is becoming stronger. More of Tianya's consciousness is being transferred over to my body as of late. This could be to prepare me to go into space because she's the spaceman, I'm not. I need to draw on that to make the transition. I realized something last night in my meditation, as a matter of fact. Getting totally off topic. There's a thing that the vegans fly around in, like a flying car, and it works like a golf cart, at least the propulsion does. It doesn't have brakes because how are you going to stop when there's no solid surface to create friction against? So no brakes. Okay, it has something like a joystick to steer it, but it's a handle that moves left or right, but that's it. It only goes 180 degrees, no more than that. Why? So you can't do a 360 in it. You can't spin around in it like you can with a car's steering wheel. My brother Merton says he wants me to show him how to drive my car. This should be interesting. I'll have to keep the steering wheel's unlimited abilities in mind. I'm sure many people on Ivo's ship will be curious about my car. The other thing about this flying car is I noticed there was nothing to gauge your altitude with. How are you supposed to know how high you're going to climb with no altimeter? Simple. It's got to do with your speed. The faster you fly, the higher you fly. Your speed will indicate your altitude. That way the slower cars are closer to the ground and the faster cars speed on above everything else. It makes sense too, when you're trying to miss obstacles. It's really a simple vehicle but smart. Getting back to where we were, Venusians are not a warring species, Sunji states. They were not plunderers. Yes, they have had their own internal problems, but they were not a species who would seek to overtake another world. The Mercurians were. I see. Was it just these two planets the Mercurians sought to do battle with? And what was Earth's response? Sunji, depending on where Earth was in its development, we were crushed by the minds of the gods and goddesses sent to defend Earth. Yes, your Athena was one whose mind was so powerful she could crush our ships with a thought. Yes, she's feisty. Now folks, do you see how powerful you can become? Almost scary, isn't it? That's why your developed benevolence and purity of intention is important. Otherwise you could have a nasty thought about someone and they would suffer the fate you thought about. Mind mastery is important going forward. Who's to say this already happening? When you think, I wish that Sob would drop dead, perhaps they will. Did you cause this? Perhaps. They perhaps went along with you on it. But as Sunji said, Athena had the power to kill people with her mind, and she did it because she was tasked to do so. So humans are capable of doing this. So here Sunji tells us what the Olympian gods and goddesses came to Earth for, to protect it. I know they fought the Titans, who were a race of giants. And they also interbred with the people on the planet, presumably as much for purposes of helping them to ascend as much as for recreation. Think of it now. Women, if you met a Pleiadian or a Lyran right now and you became pregnant by him, that child would be on the fast track multidimensionally because of the active DNA of your ET partner. Provided all the DNA changers we consume or do battle not to consume daily don't find their way to your kid's stomach and mind, this kid could be the next John Connor, Hercules, or Aquaman. By the way, the Venusians are the most spiritually advanced race in this solar system. So they help everyone else in it and they look after us on Earth. So what does all this have to do with cord cutting? Nothing, actually. It's just a primer. I'm unloading my head on you. LOL, just chatting. As for cord cutting, this is what I found. I recommend you do it. I've been complaining of all my latent fears burbling up to my awareness through physical recreation of circumstances. In other words, if you don't clear your fears out of your mind, you'll manifest them in your physical reality, so deal with your fears before they manifest. I didn't. I got caught out. I've had fallouts with almost everyone I know. I had to take my stuff out of my home and put it in a locker to the tune of another $300 per month, so that my next door neighbor doesn't burn it to cinders before he gets evicted, and someone's tried to break into my car which fortunately was locked. My neighbors are financial misfits. And they come to me for loaners. However, I take on some of their stress. So often I ask Athena to cut cords. But last night I thought I would do it myself. I did Madeline Reinhardt's meditation, which takes about a half hour. And the relief I felt was incredible. I felt their problems melt away. I felt the negativity of living beside a man who finds crap to sell on the edge of the road fade away. In this guided meditation, I was also given the opportunity to speak to the higher selves of all the people involved, and I could tell them that I really wanted the best for them but could not provide it at the physical level due to my own limits and the fact I don't want to be preyed upon. I was able to convey my best wishes for them, which was very cathartic. I could be of two minds. I could be of unity consciousness and recognize their godliness, but still keep my physical boundaries intact. It was a huge relief. If you really want your ex to change, you want all the best for him or her, but they're coming to you to caretake them, try this meditation. Keep your boundaries firm, but use this meditation as a vehicle to connect on a higher level. We can operate at more than one level at a time and not lose our sanity. In fact, it helps you retain it. Really, it's a pain here on Earth trying to recognize the unity of all upon it, and then you have to deal with predators who are of duality consciousness and sneaky bastards at that. This gives you a chance to operate at two levels of existence. Thank you, Madeline. Ivo, the problem with being in duality for so many of you is that you sincerely desire to help others. Sharon does at least, but in doing so she would put herself at risk of losing everything by a predator. This is what you are being shown, my love. You have faced this already at least once in your lifetime. We know there are many people on Earth who are predatory types, responding more through their reptilian DNA than their human DNA, and these people feed off of others. They feel that it is others' jobs to keep them alive and to support them, and this is not the case. Your environment is created to encourage that type of behavior, rather than normal human behavior. As you are humanoid, a mix of both reptilian and human DNA, you have a choice to make. Which one will you be? The hunter or the wise one who stands in their own power? In the case of friendships, however, a certain amount of emotional support should be expected. Why? Because friendships are emotional bonds, and if you desert a friend when they are in emotional need of you, you do not allow this bond to form correctly. If it is one-sided relationship that you expect, the bond will not form correctly. There is more energetic draw on one person than on yourself in return. Inequality always shows itself to those who are aware. Me, story of my life. Lying to myself to try to make others on Earth out to what I need them to be, and then being intensely hurt and disappointed. But we know now, this is a period of revelation. All lies will be revealed, including the ones you habitually tell yourself. I don't support you often, Ivo. Ivo, you have no idea of what you do for me, my love. What's more, you do when you are more realized within the etheric plane. When you relate to me on that level, you are very supportive. What's more, you teach me what you need to support you on the physical plane. It is circular. Me, ah. And here I thought I was just snoring and waking up at 3 a.m. to shoot at dark energy basketballs that are hovering over my bed. And folks, you can assume you do this with your guides and twin flames as well. That's why we're mentioning this. We are an example for you. Ivo, sleeping, in other words. No, you are gone to the etheric planes and are with me. You come back to see to the physical body's need to urinate, and whenever there is an emergency situation with respect to the dark side. So, the point of this video is discussion over cord cutting. What in fact is cord cutting? What are cords? Why are they formed? Energy creates shapes as it vibrates. Our entire universe is a series of cords connecting one person to another, one world to another, one sun to another. It is all interlinked, as it should be, because we are all one. Everything is part of God, is part of the all. When energy is directed to a specific person, that energy shows its specificity. It creates a cord, and as the cord is fed through interaction, the cord becomes stronger, or conversely it can become more toxic depending on your relationship. Sharon cut cords to her parents because the toxic relationship she had with them fed her constantly and kept her vibration down. How can you tell when you are weakening your energetic cords? When you want to leave that person, when you want to break off your relationship, when you are tired of your relationship, or when you abandon that person. Me, when you ghost somebody. Cord is easy to break then. In fact, it probably dissolves at that point because it's not longer being fed. Ivo, when energy is non-specific, When one is venting negative emotions, energy then floats in space. Your mental energy creates thought forms, your emotional energy is magnetic and it can simply magnetize itself to anyone who vibrates at that same frequency. So the dark cloud of anger you released to the ethers can then be picked up on by someone vibrating at the same frequency or by an empathy. So you find your bad moods become worse. Because of free-floating energy which you magnetize to yourself. Me, thank you, Ivo. Ivo, smiling, in the case of the indigo, they are natural transmutters so they attract a lot of negative energy. This is why the indigo, as Sharon is at Earth level, Tianya is not an indigo. She is a double Blu-ray soul/personality Blu-ray. Sharon is a Blu-ray but chose to become an indigo for her lifetime on Earth so she attracts much negative energy and constantly has problems. This is the fate of the indigo on Earth. Because Sharon's energetic level is so high, law of polarity dictates that she attract as much negativity as her innate nature is positive. So she gets a lot of problems to deal with. Why? Her innate nature as a Blu-ray is that of God's power. She has the power to deal with many problems and she has and continues to do so because this is the nature of the Blu-ray/indigo combination. Cutting cords is essential for this combination as it is for all of you, and then transmutation of the other's problems is also essential. The empathy, and specifically the indigo, is well aware of just how unified humanity actually is. When you experience headaches because your friend has one, then you know you are all one. Empaths typically feel vulnerable, but they must learn to transmute. When you have friends with many problems, as the indigo is wont to do, you must constantly cut cords and transmute. When you direct negative energy to someone through the cord, you disempower them. If your friend complains to you and you say, "I hate when they do that. Why do they always bother me with these things?" you send them a shot of negative energy which will only serve to disempower them. It is the purpose of all humans to hold up others and support them. Why? Because we are all one. Me, what about personal preference? Someone is so dysfunctional you can't take them. Ivo, then stop the relationship. It is too much for you and too damaging to your psyche and your energy field. Cut cords and move on. Wish them well. Me, I got an intuitive message yesterday that said, you can control it all metaphysically, everything around you. My neighbor's constant problems and the unsuitable tenants my landlord keeps renting to. That was probably El Moria. I'll ask him about that because he's on point with so much of this self-empowerment stuff. His video is coming out in a week or two. I was blown away when he channeled it. Ivo, indeed. You see me more as a being of love and wisdom, but I, too, am a Blu-ray. Me, I know. You are power as well. Ivo, I command a spaceship, one of the largest in the galaxy. Me, I know. Please don't get a complex. I'm not underestimating you. Ivo, I am making a point. Me, okay, now he's analyzing this. I thought he was getting emotional on us. Ivo, I am power as well, my love. I am the Trinity incorporated into a highly compassionate being. Me, I know. But I have to give the other guys a shot now and then, Ivo. People want to hear from them too. Ivo, I see. But I believe you are particularly smitten with El Moria because of his strength of mind. Me, I am. He just explains it a certain way. A kind of in-your-face way. Ivo, I see. Me, don't be hurt. Ivo, I am looking to see if I can be more for you. Me, oh geez. Ivo, you're everything to me and to many people who listen to us. You don't have to be more. You're perfect as you are. Ivo, I will see if there is another angle to approach our messages with. Me, okay, suit yourself but you don't have to try harder.